Guys, I'm recording this video with absolute sadness in my heart at what I saw today. Today, when we went to Addington Primary School in the morning, the South African kids were making their way walking to the beach because they've got nothing else to do since they don't go to school. We had to call them back because it's not safe for them to walk to the beach. Foreign nationals have their kids in school, in Addington School, in numbers. I'm talking 2 or 3, one parent with 3 children, one parent with 2 or 4 children. It's a sight that I think all these clever blacks, man, I wish they can come there and see for themselves exactly what we're talking about when we talk about how painful the situation this is. Guys, South African children are not getting an education. Ingane ayifundi njengamanje. Sizibona ekuseni zihamba ziya ebeach zithi ziyobhukuda ngoba yikho enye into ezizoyenza ngoba azifundi. Esikoleni abakwazi ukusuka ngeenyawo kusona baye esikoleni, but they couldn't do that because the school is apparently full. And the department has allocated them ukuthi baye eGreyville, which their parents cannot afford, and they've said this over and over again. So the kids were at the beach, and foreign nationals' children are in full uniform going to school. I don't know if you understand what this means for the future of this country. Now think about this South African child walking around ePhoyinti, of all places, walking around because they are idle, they've got nothing else to do. This is when they get approached by drug dealers of all sorts who put them into drugs to either buy or to use. This is how a society gets destroyed, because you take away a right to education from a child and you give it to a foreign national who you have no allegiance to, and you have nothing that prompts you to give them a public school education. If they want to get an education in South Africa, there are private schools. But we have to keep reiterating this because they will tell you that it's the Constitution. The Constitution makes it clear that you provide what you have that is within your means as a government. If you don't have, you don't provide. And this is a part of the Constitution that people deliberately want to ignore. There's no constitution in the world that can envision that you'd want to provide everything to everyone, even if you don't have it, at the expense of a South African child. But we've got a government and politicians that are tone deaf, that would rather a South African child be exposed to drugs, ePhoyinti, than for you to take those children and put them in school. If you think Greyville is such an amazing option, why are you not taking children of foreign nationals to be the ones that spend money to go to school every day instead of walking to school like they always do? Guys, we've got a serious leadership problem in this country, and it is a crisis. Because if South African children do not get an education, and we keep opening ourselves up to every single person, trying to please every single one because we're going to hide behind the Constitution, then our problems are going to get worse. Because these children are getting an education in South Africa for what? Obviously because to stay here, to get jobs here. And the South African children who are not getting a place in schools, what is going to happen to them? What happens to their future? What happens to the future of a South African child who does not get an education? Then you're busy telling us about refugees and asylum seekers. Those same refugees and asylum seekers that no provision is made for. There's no money that comes for the United Nations that goes to them getting free access to our public schools. If they have organizations or Somali Banbani or Bani Banbani that they're supposed to be getting that money from, so they can take their children to private education and private facilities. But we keep on being told that we are xenophobic at the expense of a South African child that must spend the day at the beach instead of getting an education. It's the 3rd week of school now. And you guys want to dilly-dally around the issue because you want to sound politically correct, and you want to sound like you don't have hatred. You want to sound like you are loving and Africanist and Pan-Africanist and whatever, at the expense of who? You had your chance to go to school. What about these children that don't have a school to go to right now? What must they do? Guys, no, it's enough. It's time for us now to stand up for the South African child. And if I know a lot of you are wanting to make it seem like this thing is for people who are abnormal in the head, or there's a lot of educated people who come to those pickets because they understand the importance of education. So don't act like you are too educated, too clean to come and stand up for a South African child, because one day it might be your child. We've got parents whose children are addicted to drugs, so they took them to the best schools, who took them to the most Model C, most expensive schools, but today they are hooked on drugs. And it all starts like this. It starts with the society that does not know how to prioritize its people, that does not know how to have laws that are enforced correctly. All the time we think about, oh, human rights, at the expense of who? Those people that are busy putting drugs on the streets, do they think about the human rights of South Africans? Those people that are busy putting their children instead of our own, do they think of the human rights of our South African children? Nah. Guys, you need to take this seriously. Tomorrow we're back at Addington because we're going to fight until South African children get access to school. We can't have children going to the beach instead of going to get an education. No. This is not going to happen. You can call us whatever names you want to call us. You can label us. You can call us vigilante groups. You can say whatever you want. But for a South African child, you did this with South Africans in the healthcare sector. You said we must compromise ourselves and we must die in hospitals. But now you want our children as well to also not get an education. Guys, no. Call us whatever you like. Call us what you like. At the end of the day, South African children deserve a right to an education. And we must be prioritized in our own country. It's not an option. It's not an option. We're not going to tell us about the Constitution. If you are not building schools, if you are the ones that all this time don't have access to education, take that money from the United Nations. They must build their own schools wherever they want to build schools from. They're getting money from the United Nations. That money doesn't come to us. Where do you think we're going to get the resources to educate our children? No. No.